It's time to potentially freak out, but not for the reasons that you think. SEC, if you haven't seen, holy sweet sovereign succotash, apparently looking into Bored Ape Yacht Club. There's a lot of reports about a whole bunch of different things. We're at a time right now where news info comes out. It's going to be scattered. You're going to have some sources that are legit, some sources that aren't legit. I think one of the big takeaways, yo, what's up, Water? Thanks so much for the follow. Hope you're doing good. I think one of the big takeaways with this right away, no matter what kind of situation this will unfold, right? Whether it be bullish, bearish, or just end the whole thing, things take a while to process. So I think one of the things that we could do, and my mouse is already dying here, is never buy a wireless mouse. Absolute dog water. My problem here is that if we have something similar to what happened with XRP, where, you know, this investigation, obviously a lot of volatility around that aspect, and it's still not resolved yet. That's the component of this that I think is kind of worrisome, is that we do have a lot of speculation, while at the same time, we know that these are kind of like risk on assets. So when we look at, you know, the entirety of the NFT space right now, and we can look to a couple different projects, and I think, you know, we could all agree, all right, well, that looks pretty good, and we would potentially get even more into it than what we already have. But there is the kind of, oh, you know, is the government kind of hamp down on certain things? Is what we're looking at going to survive, et cetera, where people have been saying, hey, you know, regulation is kind of bullish to the space, because then you have the people that are, you know, very, very wealthy, or like, hey, it's comfortable. It's comfortable to go in and buy these different positions. So there's a couple different ways we can look at this, and I always like getting the input from everybody here. So if you have any kind of like big thoughts regarding it, please share it down in the chat, and I'll look at it here in just a second. If there is an investigation done, right, and then it becomes something that they're like, hey, you're A-okay, you're good to go. Holy shit, the ecosystem's gonna absolutely fly, because people want to feel comfortable with stuff. And if you're like, oh, you don't know if the government, how they're gonna regulate crypto, this, that, and the other thing, they need to go after, or at least look at, some of the bigger entities. And Bored Ape Yacht Club, as we know, is pretty much the biggest, and that solidifies it. I think this also brings kind of BAYC back to the mainstream. I know that's not what we were hoping for. Everybody's like, man, we wanted other side to come out and it be like the next World of Warcraft, onboard millions of gamers, and show from that aspect what it is. But I was reading through some different Twitter comments, and there was people that were saying I'm forgetting my train of thoughts. That it was the other deed sale, which was the one that triggered it, which I think is kind of weird, because that's the idea that almost all of these NFT projects are going for, is it not? Like, okay, you have this token, you're able to then get something that's a part of the ecosystem. Like, I don't understand why there's concern with that. I think another very interesting facet of it is, if you remember, for the other side mint, the gas was so exponentially expensive, I guess would be the right word, that there was a lot of people that ended up getting ticked off, pissed off, annoyed. What if this started from people that were angry from that happening, where they weren't able to get what there is, and also the value like significantly decreased in the way that it did? Maybe there was people that were like, yo, you need to look into this and trying to push it. So was it actually that event, which was the main thing, or was it something else? I need to find the exact date for like when the XRP SEC thing happened. But again, you know, looking at just like the past year, it was at $1.14. Right now it's at like 50 cents. But I think like a big portion of this catalyst here was because of the investigation. But as you're seeing, I would assume, right? And I'm assuming here, so don't take this for fact, but I think probably around here is when people started realizing, oh, XRP might actually win this case, or, you know, a lot of reports have come out that they've already won it, but things are just getting stalled right now, where the confidence is back looming. But again, we've had this entire stretch, right? So from April until basically the end of September, we had it where the token people were just like, I'm not touching it, which is funny, because again, this is right before the ape coin staking overall. For the ape token, everybody is shorting the absolute shit out of this. $4.71 yesterday. We were looking at $5.23. Somebody was like, "Yo, yeah, gang token is not happening anymore." I don't know if that's actually what's going to take place, but we'll see. Another person here saying the SEC isn't going after Yuga Labs; they're just poking the fire called Web3. I'll try to find this article here. But Wall Street's main regulator is also examining the distribution of ApeCoin, which was given to holders of Bored Ape Yacht Club and related NFTs. The cryptocurrency was created in part for Web3, a vision of a decentralized internet built around blockchains. Yuga hasn't been accused of wrongdoing, and the opening of an SEC probe doesn't mean the agency will sue the firm. It's well known that policymakers and regulators have sought to learn more about the novel world of Web3. We hope to partner with the rest of the industry and regulators to define and shape the burgeoning ecosystem. Yuga said in a statement to Bloomberg News, as leader in the space, Yuga is committed to fully cooperating with any inquiries along the way. Again, I think the arguments of if BAYC fails, the whole space fails, I would generally agree with. I don't know if that's the bag holder in me or just the fact of, hey, this is the top dog. If they're not doing things the correct way or they're not able to, deal with situations such as this, it's probably unlikely that others are going to be able to. Basically, the reports that came out were Bored Ape creator faces SEC probe over unregistered security offerings. That was pretty much just the headlines. There wasn't a whole lot of info when it first came out. Also, general news today. Vault by CNN. We'll keep talking about the ApeCoin stuff, but just an update for this. This was an NFT project that was launched. I think it lasted less than a year. Fellow collectors, the Vault team is honored to have partnered with amazing journalists, producers, artists, photojournalists, and collectors from all over the world during our time together. But we have decided that it's time to say goodbye to Vault by CNN. Vault was originally launched as a 6-week experiment, but the support and engagement from our community let us expand this project into something much larger. Thank you to each of you for your interest and engagement in what we built together. At CNN's core is a spirit of innovation and experimentation. Going right to our founding in 1980, we learned a lot from our first foray into Web3. We are excited to carry Vault's concepts around community storytelling into future projects. Again, this is something that they're probably just like, the one before didn't work, we're going to do something soon. Happens a lot, but I think that when they do launch something else, people will be wary of it. We'll see. I don't know if you put the category of CNN in like with the celebrities. I know we've had different issues with celebrities overall, but curious, I guess, what the future for CNN is. While we will no longer be developing or maintaining this community, it's interesting that they're not maintaining it at all. The Vault NFT collection will live on. Head over to our Discord server for more on that. So, okay, let's just kind of loosen the noggin here for a second and go into the, maybe CNN ends up coming up with this banger idea that people are very interested in a year from now, okay? And then they use these NFTs as something for that down the line. Are people going to have an issue with it? What's the thoughts on that, right? Because I think we do have kind of an issue of different projects coming out. Maybe they don't work for the year, or maybe they go for 2 years, right? In a bigger entity like this, can you imagine CNN literally never doing anything with Web3 again? I don't foresee that happening, so I know there's a lot of kind of negativity with it. I think where the real negativity should come from is if they continue to do stuff in the future and then don't really do anything for those original NFTs, or otherwise we're kind of just, hey, it's a historic one. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny. Celia, Max minting the Gary Gensler BAYC derivative that someone is bound to make shortly. There's probably going to be something. And listen, we got a little bit of the copy pasta in here. In case of an investigation by any federal entity or similar, I do not have any involvement with this group or with the people in it. I do not know how I am here. Probably added by a third party. I do not support any actions by members of this group. Banger. Also, Eric, sorry, I didn't see you followed. So just going back, this probably nothing thing, 37.9K followers back in August was one of the partners that went with CNN. We are excited to announce a collaboration between Probably Nothing and Vault by CNN. So they dropped this thing. But yeah, also the Medikey, they partnered with Immutable X. So Immutable X has got another game going to them. I'm telling you, do not sleep on this. And then CryptoPunks, they're doing an update with the website and some other things. There's a longer post on that, but we can kind of just scroll Twitter and see if there's any updates on things. And OpenSea is getting Avalanche NFTs as well. Yo, XYZ, what's going on? Today has been an eventful time. I don't know if we've seen any kind of capitulation across the ecosystem. We can go check super quick here. But floor price 78.3. 9 hours ago was the last buy. Yo, guys, Bored Apes are dead. Oh my goodness. 136K though. Sheesh. Looking at the mutant dogs, somebody took an offer on that. So we've got a couple offers. So people that have dogs, or I guess we could call it a lesser financial holding compared to the 100K. We're down at 810. A couple people capitulating on the news here. If I'm just going to guess, I don't know why you wouldn't just list a little bit higher, take those offers. It feels like that's correlated in that sense. And then for the mutant apes, we are looking at... But I think ultimately what you'll notice is a lot of people start to realize that this is going to potentially look like what happened with XRP. And the difference, though, is that like XRP was actually going to court. This is just the SEC looking into Yuga, kind of, I guess we'll say at face value. Okay. Couple kinda capitulations here, not really, otherwise, you know, kind of normal everyday buys here. But for the ETH offers, again, we'll keep an eye on ApeCoin as we go here. We were at 480 earlier, we're now at 474. Everyone's talking about how it's being shorted right now. I do think that if you were a believer in something, a lot of people do talk about buying the dip, yada 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 yada. But what does the confidence look like? Does Bored Ape with this probe stop their staking, right? Like, is it something that they say to themselves, okay, if we're getting looked into, why do we launch something additional into this for them to further look into it? Do we see ApeCoin staking delayed? Every single announcement that we've ever seen get delayed, the token ends up absolutely tanking in price. So XRP lawsuit date. Ripple Inc. won access to Securities and Exchange Commission documents to defend against the agency's suit, accusing them of misleading. Okay, that's not what we are looking for. Beginning. I'm just trying to find the exact date that this happened. October 24th remains a key date, apparently. October 18th. No, I want, like... That go back. When was the date that all this shit happened with XRP? Because I'm curious how we could follow. When did the SEC start looking into Ripple? December 22nd. Holy shit. Okay. XRP. So December 22nd. Yeah, so it's like, it's kind of like right here. So the 22nd, I don't know if I can. So there was a little bit of like an uptick here. Like it crashes, right? Along here. Before that, wait, no, this is, hold on, back here. Wait, whoa. Whoa. This chart isn't good to read. Let's just do the year date. Okay, so this shows us 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. So 23, right? Okay, so 23. So it took an entire year, and we're still not back to where it is before. So it was at 99 cents when that investigation happened. It tanked, but it took 23 days, took about 20 days, right? Because you go from December 23rd to January 22nd, it rides and then it pumps. So we could theoretically see it going lower. There's a little bit of an uptick here, but it's like 3 cents. So, you know, not much of a TA guy over here or anything, but arguably speaking, we could see that play out where if we're looking at the history with XRP, even though it is kind of technically different. We see the dip, but then we see kind of like a huge run up here where it flies about 20 cents. So there's going to be a pivot point. I don't know if people are going to feel confident about buying during that time, but we'll see. Could have something to do with the CBDC law, BS. SEC been trying to get everybody since they can't. Yeah, so that's the other thing. For anyone that doesn't know, apparently the government in December, at least for the U.S., is looking into giving out this like digital currency, which a lot of people have the concern. It might have posted a link. Water, sorry, if you're not subbed, links end up getting deleted just because we've had like bot issues come in before. Sorry about that. But feel free to like repost that. Just space out the link that was attached to it. But yeah, so if the government goes to like this digital currency, I'm pretty sure like China and some other places are already on something similar to that. But a lot of people are saying, hey, like it's even worse when trying to get stuff. Because if you're Canadian right now, and you're trying to go and purchase crypto, most of the time it's going to reject you because Canadian banks just straight up don't like it or they're trying to prevent it. So that's one component, right? Like basically besides that, you can do almost anything with your money, but the realization of, hey, we're actually not allowed to buy that, and the only reason for it is they say that we're not allowed to, even though we gave them our money to begin with, and it's supposed to be safe there. I think that people are now realizing the whole point of crypto, where, again, before it was, oh my God, the bags are flying, all these rich kids, these nerds, whatever, yada, yada. That narrative ends up taking over because it's bigger than, hey, guys, hello, all you're wanting to spend, all your, we'll call it freedom. I think that some people have a very, like, aggressive stance to it. I'm kind of like, okay, like, I'm just aware of this is probably not a great thing when that happens because, again, they can block and they can fully track everything you do for there. And, yeah, not the greatest. Banks been hoarding cryptocurrency for a while, though, and more exchanges offering options. Well, I'm curious, like, if some of these banks decide, hey, like, let's get into it a little bit more, like, it could end up being good, but most of them are end up trying to fight everything around it. So, seeing a little bit of a pivot here for the ApeCoin. Volume already up 110% on the 24-hour mark. So, again, this is going to get into the face of, like, everybody in terms of, hey, this is a thing that exists. And there's a lot, like, the haters are out in full force already. It's kind of funny. Yo. I love Twitter. Not sure why people are freaking out. This is literally part of the roadmap. I'm hoping the floor drops a bit so I can buy a mutant. Like, dude, our bags are getting demolished. Some guy's like, yo, this is part of the roadmap, fam. That's incredible. I love it. But yeah, does anybody have any extra thoughts or things that you think that we should, like, look at or compare to? I'll see if I can find any extra postings here. So, Bored Ape creator Yugal faces SEC probe over unregistered security offerings. Wall Street regulator examining whether NFTs are securities. That feels like a blanket statement overall. Regulators' inquiry may not lead to allegations of misconduct. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is investigating Yuga Labs Inc., the creator of the popular Bored Ape Yacht Club collection of NFTs. Notice how they highlight that it's popular, over whether sales of its digital assets violate federal law. The SEC is examining whether non-fungible tokens from the Miami-based company are more akin to stocks and should follow the same disclosure rules. According to a person familiar with the matter, who asked not to be named because the probe is private, Wall Street's main regulator is also examining the distribution of ApeCoin, which was given to holders of Bored Ape Yacht Club and the related. So, here's the thing that's weird, is they're actually just looking into the NFT aspect, but they're, in addition to that, looking at the ApeCoin. So, does that theoretically mean if they find that there's a problem with the NFTs, does that mean the entire space goes to zero? knee-jerk reaction, you would say yes. But then looking to it further, you'd be like, okay, well, what about just operating outside of the USA? That's where things come in a little bit differently, where you've probably seen on Twitter as well, a lot of people highlighting, hey, Australia's got a crazy NFT community. And that's another reason why I'm kind of bullish on IMX. I know that Guild of Guardians, that team pretty much is based out of Australia. I don't know if IMX is, but that's kind of the idea, right? Is that a lot of these companies that are doing stuff, they're not going to want to be based in the US anymore. So if Canada gets their shit together, maybe they could be the capital of all this crypto shit. But nope. And also, further to that point, is Portugal. Bro, Portugal is now taxing crypto. You guys remember ZG? Zed Gazette? I had food with them. I went to a dinner with them at the NFT NYC shit. He's like living out there now. He moved there because they weren't taxing crypto. What are they doing now? Taxing crypto, bruv. It's nuts. Whatever you need to do to pump my GOG bags, yo, I'll do it. I got you. But this is kind of like the thing, right? This is very important. Like, I feel this is going to take significantly longer than we want. So whoever the hell predicted the next run of NFTs to be in like 2024 is probably even more accurate with today's happenings. But I can't say like we're shocked with it, right? Like I think almost everybody here, if you've been in the space for a while, you're not shocked that this news came out like in the slightest. It was kind of a matter of when, not if. Now, I don't know if I necessarily thought that they would be looking at the NFT component more so than the tokens, because I feel like the tokens are a little bit different. But we're learning. Okay, so this guy is a lawyer. So let's see his thoughts. Heard the SEC is going to probe Yuga on some things. No idea if that's true or not, but apes were sold without promise of anything in the future. ApeCoin was airdropped. Is it different than traditional biz practice? Yes. Was it sale of an unregistered security? Probably not. Realistic take, I think. Not bad. Realistic. 33.5k ApeCoin. Wait, what? What? 33 times 477. Okay, so this guy is a millionaire. Yo, I love this space. Everybody's just like blatantly, hey, yo, I'm a millionaire. Please follow me because I have money. I don't think anybody like looks at that and thinks, oh yeah, like that person's got a bag. But this is one of the problems with the space. Like, people are just so comfortable like sharing all their news. I think there's gonna be like a fair amount of scam stuff getting posted, by the way. I'm seeing different things. I'm still just scrolling. But how quick do you think this recovers, if at all? Yo, Boomer, we going to zero. Yo, do you want to hop on and chat about this quick, or what are you doing? I don't know if you got any extra insight. I'm kind of not. Yeah, to be honest, if there's anybody that's got like hardcore thoughts, I know you guys are kind of just vibing here with this, but would love to have you on. Okay, cool. I will give you a call. Yo, Buffalo Space, what's up? How are you? Yo, Ape. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully.
ApeCoin goes bananas.
I'm curious how many people are still like holding their bag versus selling here, because I do think that a lot of like the price actions from shorting. Yo, Boomer, what's up?
Hello, hello.
Yo, what's up? How are you?
Is it better now? I don't know which microphone it's picking up on.
Not your good one, but that's okay. It still sounds fine. But okay,
And
what's
is that
yo,
better?
yeah, that's way better. What's so give me your lowdown of what you think of this news.
We're going to zero.
Do you like genuinely think that?
No, no, I don't genuinely think that.
Okay.
I think that honestly, it's a good thing. It sounds weird, and I know like short-term price movement is not going to be in favor of it, but it might push to get more regulator like clarity around it, and going after the top dog makes the most sense for them. I mean, look at how much it's traded and what they've done. And good news, they have $500 million to fight it. So I think Yuga will be fine, and will prove out to figure out what rules that we can all play along with.
So with BAYC kind of being the focus of this, do you envision anyone else getting investigated, or do you think the SEC will just, I guess, use Yuga as an example for everything and just base it off of them?
I think they're going to probably look at who the attorneys were on Yuga, and then they're going to try to figure out who else in the space received the same or similar advice.
Gotcha.
And then it'll probably lead to further investigations.
Ooh, so you actually think that the lawyers and like the legal teams are going to be kind of the, I don't know if I want to use like the like a prisoner type deal. Yo, you want out, buddy, over here, and then we'll get down the line. But do you think that's the kind of scenario?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's all speculation.
Well, I mean, if something ends up getting proven that it's not legitimate or whatever, but I mean, I feel like there's so few details out right now that we don't really know.
No, we don't. It's good news that they're going to comply. I mean, obviously they're going to comply. They're all US based, so they need to comply. And they've hired a lot of expensive attorneys, and they've documented. Now, whether those attorneys are correct or not, the SEC is going to let them know.
Right.
But it'll probably be a slap on the wrist, a fine. Hey, we won't do it again. We'll fix it. We'll get some regulative clarity around it. And
yeah, actually, that'd be pretty solid. Yo, TSPG, what's up? So, little TLDR for anyone that's not joined, and we got Boomer on the line here that we're discussing. I'm going to read this article from CoinDesk. The SEC is probing Yuga Labs, the creator of Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT collection, over whether sales of its digital assets violate federal law. According to a report from Bloomberg, it's citing an unnamed source close to the matter. At issue is whether some of the Yuga's NFTs are closer to stocks and thus should follow the same disclosure rules. The SEC is also reportedly looking into how ApeCoins were distributed to holders of Bored Ape Yacht Club and related NFTs. ApeCoin was falling almost 8% following the publication of Bloomberg's story. A spokesperson for Yuga Labs confirmed that it was cooperating with the SEC's probe into the matter. It's well known that the policymakers and regulators have sought to learn more about the novel world of Web3. We hope to partner with the rest of the industry and regulators to define and shape the burgeoning system. As a leader in this space, Yuga is committed to fully cooperating with any inquiries along the way. This is a developing story and will be updating. He's not wrong. White collar crime isn't real crime. Like holding the. So, I mean, what do we need to know about this? Like, my first reaction was, okay, what did it look like for XRP? Because for XRP and Ripple Labs, that was kind of a scenario where the SEC decided to take them to the court to it. It seems that they're not having success with it. But it took, we just looked at the chart. It took like literally a year until XRP started seeing some positive price movement compared to when that news initially broke.
yeah, I don't think they're winning that XRP case. So I don't think there's a strong, compelling argument that an inquiry is going to translate into something long-term negative. Again, I think we'll get more clarity, which is positive for the entire space. So, well, we're not like sacrificing Yuga for the sake of the greater good, right? They have a ton of money. So I think that they can fight it. I think they've got probably a really compelling argument justifying what they've done and haven't done. And they probably have a ton of legal briefing that they put together. on why they were doing those things. I mean, they've probably paid those attorneys so much money.
Yeah, facts.
Now they have to prove that worth.
Well, the thing that seems weird about the whole situation, and it seems that this always happens, is that this is right before when staking is supposed to launch. Do you think that this is just a coincidence, or do you think this is specifically trying to get out before that happens to potentially stop something?
Oh, tinfoil hat style. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of suspect, right? Like they were supposed to have staking launched and acknowledged and everything in that space is what, 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And now we have this. So maybe.
And now my other thing, and we'll kind of relay this into TSBG asking about when I'm going to sell Biz. No, listen, I don't know. I might sell the mutants. I don't know about that one, but the component to this that I think is one of my bigger takeaways is that all of this crypto stuff is super risky, right? Like I'm a younger person and I'm like, okay, I got a whole bunch of years. If this shit all goes to zero, like we tried, but it's risk on, like investing, whatever you want to say. But if there is this investigation done and then, the government SEC is like, hey, green light, we're A-okay. Does this not make everything go completely parabolic in the ecosystem?
It would make everything probably go parabolic in every system. Like if they greenlight, which they won't, right? They can't make an inquiry, right? They can't make an inquiry and then go, hey, you're all good here, right? They're going to find something and they're going to probably do it for some undisclosed amount, some settlement piece, some lip service thing just to save face. Like if it was all good anyway. Yeah, I think that it would move, not financial advice, of course. It would move strongly to the upside. But also we could be like years away from what that looks like.
Yeah. Would agree.
XRP is
well. Again, that's why I'm trying to I don't think we need to follow exactly what happened with XRP, but the fact again, the token essentially died for an entire year while the investigation ended up happening. And I don't know what that's going to look like for this situation because it is different, but I think there is an interesting component to it. So, did you have any takeaways or any thoughts initially when you saw it, or now that you've had a little bit of time to reflect? Because I'm trying to come up with extra thoughts, and my only thing is, I think if they end up greenlighting things, which I agree with you, I don't think they're going to do that. But if they did, things move a lot. I think that it's going to be a while before we see really what comes out of this. It's not going to be a quick turnaround, but I think it's also going to potentially put the entire NFT space on delay, which is potentially the most frightening thing.
Not talking about XRP Ripple, but the ripple effect of this is going to be felt magnitudes. And the smaller the project, like the further out from this are, they're going to be or the closer they're going to be more affected, because everyone's going to stop trading. Everyone's going to try to figure out what the hell this means. How does this work? It might shake some of the VCs into pausing funding. Which could then have long-term repercussions in the space because less things are getting funded, less infrastructure plays, whatever that might be. It might be a nothing burger and everyone moves on as normal. So it's hard to tell. I think in the next week we will probably get a better feel from at least the institutional side. Like, does this make it to where they want to pause everything? Is there issues with all of their stuff? Because remember, a lot of the VCs, they're going to invest in different companies. I don't care if it's a PFP thing like Doodles, if it's a gaming company, if it's infrastructure, whatever. They're getting equity and token, or they're doing all token deals. It's very rare, I think, that they're doing all equity deals. So the token is very much a part of every VC deal. And it is almost a requirement for some of them. They won't do a deal unless there's token involved. And now that these tokens are getting called into question, that might cause them to pause because now they don't know what's going to happen with all the other tokens in the ecosystem that they've invested in. So there's you're thinking more retail. I immediately went and thought more institutional. What's that going to mean for funding of future growth in the space?
Hot damn. Yeah. That's a good point. I'm just trying to think of like what's the immediate reaction here though? Like what do you think's the short term, like this week we see that's different compared to last week, if anything?
So I like getting the news and then figuring out the ape ecosystem, right? So does this mean, and I have no idea. So I'm just like throwing out these things, right? Does this mean that staking is dead? I don't know. Does this mean that mech dogs aren't coming? I don't know. What does this do with other side development? I don't know. What does this do with like the ApeCoin DAO and all the different proposals? Those have been accepted or haven't been accepted or haven't even been proposed yet. I don't know. Like all of those things have different like effects, into the greater ecosystem. If the DAO is getting spun up and starting to do these proposals and things are being created, like does that get stopped completely? Like if there is something wrong with ApeCoin and the value cuts, I don't know, in half from here, like that significantly cuts the treasury. Like that means they're going to do a lot of other things. Like there's so many different pieces, but then I can point to like a dozen other projects that have done, I mean, way more than a dozen that have done like way shadier stuff than Yuga. So what happens to those projects? Like, are those now going to be on the chopping block? Are those going to get called into question? Are they too small for the SEC to matter? Like when they do find something, if they do find something, I should say, how do those implications like move throughout the community into medium and smaller size projects? And I think all of that is going to cause people to just, they're already at the like near depressed stage of the bear market. This might trigger the final push into like full desperation of
Goblin
capitulation.
Town. Holy God. Yo, it's a whirlwind that this all is, but when we talked, I mean, I just mean like in general, over the past year, a question that was frequently brought up was how early and what stage are we? And it felt like when things were going crazy, it felt that we weren't really at the beginning, right? Like it was like, okay, like this feels like it's got mainstream adoption and all this kind of stuff. But, a couple months down the road, we're now hitting this. And personally, I feel like we're still like super early and back kind of to square one. Where do you place us? Do you think that this sign of everything that's happening is that we're ascending truly into mainstream, that we're still like ungodly early? What's your thoughts on it?
I never thought we hit mainstream adoption. We just don't have enough wallets and enough traction on the network. Like yes, it was going up and things were looking great when the prices were running. Everything was still a meme in the beginning. Um, in terms of like the general public, they still think it's a joke. How are your monkey pictures doing? Right? We've seen those headlines and the jokes on TV and everything. When it turns into like the infrastructure is here, so you barely understand that you barely feel that you're on blockchain. That will be when more mass adoption comes. So I've always thought, and I hate though, like we are early. I don't know a better way of saying it, but I always thought that this was like speculative price pushes, and it was really fun while it lasted, but that it wasn't going to last forever. And I think I even have a tweet somewhere. It's like, what are all the project's going to do when royalties start shrinking because we're going to hit a bear market at some point? Like that was a legitimate question. I got like laughed at, which is cool, but it's still a concern. I have no idea what they're going to do, uh, especially, as these things are coming. But I actually look at this as a very positive thing for the overall space, not for Yuga, but like the over positive space.
Just want to throw down in the chat, by the way, for anyone that's liking what Boomer is saying here, he is the co-founder of Life Force Games, which we've actually had on here before. But if you want to follow his thoughts about things and his journey as we're going along, just want to throw his Twitter down there in chat if you guys like to follow. Okay, so I think another component of this is the fact that they're looking into Bored Apes, right? But the creator of Bored Apes is Yuga Labs, and I'm looking at your profile picture, which is making me think of it. But does this actually have an effect on CryptoPunks in any way?
So yes and no. No from the majority of things, other than just it's under the same parent concept at this point. But CryptoPunks have been very separate of apes this whole time. They don't care that Yuga owns them. They don't care who owns what. The punks are the punks, and they're in their own isolated ecosystem, and really could give a shit less what anyone outside of that ecosystem is doing. So I don't think that this affects it like how you might originally kind of think. Price movement, though, I think the whole market is going to, yeah, you're going to see things like that where people are going to capitulate and just sell their assets at floor. Same thing happens every time any sort of bad news would come. I think the punks are going to just have it in terms of how this affects them. It's just going to affect the overall market the same way the punks, just more illiquidity, maybe some downward pricing in the short term. But again, I still think that this is positive for the space. Yeah, dogs are getting dropped.
Dogs are getting beat. Holy shit. Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean,
I still think it's positive though. Like and maybe I'm just a glass half full idiot, but like
or a
I have
boomer.
to think
Yeah.
that this is positive, or a boomer. But I have to think this is positive for the space long term.
So let's assume somebody's watching right now and they're holding Yuga assets. Obviously, never financial advice, but you're not freaking out selling the bag right now.
Hold on, let me go smash the floor real quick with some of this stuff. And then give me 2 minutes, and I'll be right back now. Jokes aside, so I own a couple dogs, a couple apes, a couple mutants. I've been contemplating, do I hold my second ape or not? I'm still, this is like a nothing to me, whether I sell or keep the ape. Like, it's ape coin. It's not going to influence. It's not going to take down the whole market, I don't think.
What? Okay, so let's be the bad news bears here for a second. Worst case scenario, let's say that something's actually wrong here and they find that like NFTs overall get smashed. Like, is there a realm where NFTs go to zero? Or like my argument earlier was that I think that like companies that are trying to go in this or whatever would just end up going like offshore from the US to run operations. Or do you think that like if the US bans something that like it's actually not possible to recover in any way?
I mean, that's always the case. It's the most actually frustrating thing to me as a founder in the space for the last, almost 2 years now. I have a different set of rules being in the US that everyone else has, across the globe. And, someone in Portugal basically has no rules, whereas I have like crazy limiting rules on what we can do. So we get asked all the time about different things regards to token or staking or giveaways or whatever, and I'm like, I can't do those things. I can't compete with someone else. So if the US is dumb enough to come out and say like, we're going to make it illegal to own NFTs, of course the NFT market is going to suffer. But will it go to truly zero? No. Someone will figure out a way to probably move around that. But the rest of the world will continue to move on, and the US will be just put behind. I don't think it'll go to zero. It'll just mean less liquidity.
Yeah.
Right? Which translates to probably lower prices. Right? I mean, those things are just like high level common sense. If you don't have a lot of money, you have a lot of money that's locked or can't, enter the market. It's just the addressable market size is going to be smaller.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have any extra questions or thoughts about it? I feel like we've broken it down pretty good. Trying to think if there's anything else that's super important that we need to be like aware of here. Did you hear any rumors of this like popping up ahead of time? Because a lot of people are trying to now figure out who is the sources of people saying that a couple weeks ago. Because I guess there's one or two people that might have floated that on Twitter.
No, I had no clue of that. But if they did have that, or if we find out that like, hey, you know, we're finding out on October 11th, but if they know, you know, in September 18th or September 30th or whatever it is, then it's pretty easy to connect the dots in my mind. I could be wrong, and I'm not accusing or saying anything, but like, that's why we're having the staking delays. Right?
Yeah.
Because there was some inquiry here. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. Like, it's an inquiry. It doesn't prove. It's like you're innocent until proven guilty. Like, this does not say that they're wrong, that they've done anything incorrect. And I know how expensive attorneys are. They have spent probably a ton of money that we honestly could barely comprehend spending that with attorneys to get all of this done. So I think that they're going to have some really good cases behind it. They'll have this, it'll probably get dragged out for a long time. To me, the biggest question mark is, what does this do to that roadmap? What does that do to the things that they had in progress? Where do we go from here as a holder? That's what I'm more.
Yeah. How much does it affect what it's doing? Because again, somebody posted earlier about how it's in the roadmap with Jimmy the Monkey's trial, and again, like, you know, maybe there is kind of a weird marketing.
You
ploy
guys,
with
Jimmy
this.
the Monkey.
But yeah. I mean, I doubt it, but like, it'd be funny if that ends up being kind of like what it is.
Yeah, the joke's on us.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, that was entertaining, Boomer. I appreciate you coming on to chat. We'll probably end the discussion there because I feel like there's only so much we can go over for the time being. But if we get more info or anything coming up, I'll give you a shout again, sir.
All good. Back to work for me.
Yo, appreciate you. Yo, okay. Well, holy sweet mother of pearl. So for anyone that hasn't caught up, basically, SEC looking into NFTs, using Yuga as an example, also looking into the distribution of the ape coin. Again, it's taken the Ripple XRP about a year. It's got positive price action again. I mean, everybody's kind of concerned with the market, stocks, everything not really doing too good, you know? It's not doing too good. I don't know. But anyway, listen, I just wanted to come on here, do a little bit of an emergency stream, get you guys caught up. If you haven't seen this, I'll be posting the VOD here shortly. Check it out. I appreciate you guys. We'll probably catch you a little bit later. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk soon. Peace.
Now I'm just what you want. I look like you want me to, and I can't tell what's true, 'cause my world's made up of fake news, yeah. I'm realigning every facet of the space I'm in. I'm customizing all the curves that give the shape I'm in. I'm redesigning all of me so maybe I fit in. Now I'm not whining, but I fucking hate this world we're in. It's just not the kind of place I wanna be. They don't got the kind of rules I wanna see. I feel caught with no shot, so fuck not. Well, then inside your robot. Not like this, 'cause I don't think you really know who I am, or what I like, or why I don't fit inside your universe, 'cause I always come out feeling worse. No. And you don't know me, despite all your data says. These ads I confess, they must know I'm depressed, yeah. And I don't think like that, I'm not like you. Fuck you, I'm not a stat, I'm misconstrued. I'm taking my life back from all your garbage I scroll through. Not like this, 'cause I don't think you really know who I am, or what I like, or why I don't fit inside your universe, 'cause I always come out feeling others. And I don't think like that, I'm not like you. Fuck you, I'm not a stat, I'm misconstrued. I'm taking my life back from all your garbage I scroll through. So I hit start like this, and the world loads like that, and I blow harsh with a kiss. I'm metamorphosing into a cat. Now I race around like glitch, find the time to look a name on Twitch, switching lights in my brain. Yeah, Pokemon's got me bewitched. I'm fucking with fans, trying to make them glow, and we take pics like this, and I like the pics so much, I'm gonna pin them up home. Now they can reach me by phone. I am doing this on my own. This kingdom will be overthrown. I'm realigning every facet of the space I'm in. I'm customizing all the curves that give the shape I'm in. I'm redesigning all of me so maybe I fit in. Now I'm not whining, but I fucking hate this world we're in. It's just not the kind of place I wanna be. It don't got the kind of rules I wanna see. I feel caught with no shot, so fuck not. Well, then inside your robot. Well, then live inside your robot. We live inside your robot. I'm not